Good morning, ladies and gents. How are we all doing? I hope we all good. I hope our weekend was blessed. So we're just going to resume our Boom and Crash synthetic indices morning analysis, which we are going to drop almost on a daily if everything goes according to plan. So we're going to be looking at B1000, C300, C500, C1000, B500, and V75. So we're going to kick off with Boom 1000. So basically what we'll do, just look at the higher time frame. We start from the daily, drop to the H4, drop to the H1, and we'll see if we can get a bias, market structure, and a confirmed setup. So looking at the daily, for now, you can see we are trading above the 13 EMA. If we look to our left, I think the high of this month is right here. That's where I feel our price is most likely coming to, or rather, that's where price looks like it's going to based on the daily market order flow. So our high of the month is on 2450. So that's our target, 20450. So daily, we agree we are bullish. There is room though for a pullback, maybe coming back to the 13 EMA. That's a possibility. But for now, price looks like it's in a bullish order flow. So we jump to H4 so that we can confirm market structure. What we're looking on H4, what we're looking for is higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. That confirms an uptrend. That confirms a bullish bias from the daily. So coming from this low on the bottom, this was the lowest low, lower high, a higher low, and a higher high, breaking this high here. So I believe this is where our trend actually started. So we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This high failed to take out this high. So here, that's why I was saying price, there is room for price to potentially retrace towards that 13 EMA on the daily. But for now, again, on H4, when you take a closer look, let me just zoom in. If we zoom in right here on H4, you see that we're still bouncing off the 13 EMA. TDI is trading above the 50 EMA. That shows an uptrend. We also have price bouncing off this marked level, which I had. So again, that sort of gives me that bullish bias for today. So let's see if H1 is going to give us something to work with. We jump to H1 again, we see we're trading about the 13. TDI is also trading about the 50 level. That also gives us a bullish bias. We jump to M15. We're now looking for an entry. So again, before we come to M15, let's just come back to H1. All right. So from H1, what you notice is price has reacted off yesterday's open price right here, where there is also a dynamic support, which is the 50 EMA, dynamic support, which is the 13 EMA. And now my current point of interest is today's open price. So if we stay above, I'm looking forward for price to extend today's highs. Most likely they will get to yesterday's highs as a take profit. So if we jump to M15, scroll down a bit, push up, push down. So here we're looking for the same pattern, but on a smaller time frame. Now we want to locate higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. This is yesterday's high. So this is my immediate target. At this point, I already have an entry on B1000. I actually have two entries in, and I'm looking forward to scale in if this price gives me any form of a retracement. So let me see, from M15, I usually jump to M5 just to see if there's anything I can use. If there's nothing I can use, my next best time frame is usually the M3. This is my confirmation time frame in terms of trend for the particular smaller time frame. So price pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down. Then we broke this lower high here. So remember here, we had a lower high, lower high and lower high. Then now we've got a higher high here. Price is broken that, so this also looks like a higher high. If we do come back to today's open price here, which is also near the 13 EMA. So this is a support. This is a dynamic support. If I do get any retracement here, I will be looking forward to scaling, and my target, like I said, for now, my target is yesterday's high. Yes, price can get all the way to 20450, like I said, but for now, the immediate intraday TP is yesterday's high. So if I can get this piece of the pie right here, that will still qualify as a good trade for me. Then I'll just take profit here and call it a day. So for now, that's my setup. Steady stoking. We already have two positions in. So let me just pick the buy limit price, which is on 20255. So I'm going to place that manually on my phone. 20255. I'm just going to use 20256. And at the same time, I'm going to update this into the group. Okay, the TP for now here is 20340. All right, just a moment. So these trades I placed them on my mobile. So let me update in the group as well. 340. Right, just hang in there. Okay, so in the group, I'm going to put one entry at CMP, entry buy limit at 2056. All right, done. So that's shared. Right now, we're just going to wait for a reaction here. So I might scale in 2 times. So what will happen? This is now part of trade management. So I have my plan. The only thing I need to do now is to trade the plan. So if price comes here and they give me a reaction, if they trigger my buy limit, that'll be perfect. But if they move up, I'm going to add one more last position here. Then I'm just going to wait to see if they expand towards my take profit. So that's the plan for B1000. We are going to come back to it just before I finish off the Zoom. So let's close this. Just want to check the time now. Okay, 9:30. I'm also getting ready to trade London session German 40. So I'll just try to make this a quick one. All right, so the next in line in terms of analysis is C300 again. Going to jump to the daily. Daily is bouncing off the 13 EMA. Already we've been pushing down strongly, so already we've got a selling bias coming from the daily. We do have a lower high here. We do have this last order block here. So safer sells are going to be below this order block price, which will be around 3-4. We're just going to round it up to 3,500, 3,500. If price comes below that with a nice close, that will mean a possible continuation of these sales, most likely to close off the month or at least to set a new low for this month. So we're just going to mark the lows of this current lows of this month. We're going to put an exact price there. So that's 3090, 3090. Right. Then this order block price is 3495. Right. We are going to jump to H4 to get our pattern, or rather market structure. So from here, what we'll notice is price the previous week. They tried to actually push up. So let's see if we can run this with a trend line here. So it's basically this higher low. We're not using this and this higher low here. And what you notice is price broke out the trend line, and they're sort of bouncing off that trend line as well. So this sort of gives us a possibility of price actually pushing. So remember, the safer sells are below this level, coming down towards this low. So that's the plan which we have coming from the higher time frame. Then jumping to H1. Again, H1 now we see price sort of okay, we bounced off. This is our safe level from the daily, this level right here. So for the sales to potentially continue, we want to see price break and potentially drop. So based off this, we do have a bias. We do have almost equal highs here. We do have liquidity taken. So now I'm narrating the price on H1 based off my bias coming off the higher time frame. So the bias is a sell. So I'm going to see if I can actually map out a potential sell on H1. So coming off today's high, which is here, which took out this liquidity here and bounced off the open price of yesterday. Price broke this order block here, which is this candle you see within here. Let me see if I can zoom in so that it can be clear. Okay, there's this candle inside here. So that's an order block. That's my first point of interest right now. So I'm looking for a possible retest of that order block before I can start looking for early sells coming down towards this level, which we want to be broken on a daily time frame. So 3630. All right, so that's our order block point of interest. I also have this point of interest. This is just based off like my trading. I've noticed price sometimes will come to the top of this particular supply zone which they've left. They'll come just above it before they actually potentially sell. So this is also a second point of interest, which is on 3665, 3665. That's my second point of interest. So for now, based on my current analysis, these are my only 2 points of interest. The third, of course, is on the bottom. If price decides, let's say, to drop without coming here, then we might look for this. So this is point of interest number 3, point of interest number 1, point of interest number 2. So I can only sell on these areas unless, of course, price shows me something else. So for example, right now I've got this particular minor level in here. So price might okay, let me remove this. So price might decide to just retrace here, meet this dynamic resistance, and give me a reaction candle or a rejection candle which shows that price will potentially continue down. So that might make this point of interest number 4. But until I get a reaction here, for now, I'm just going to focus on this level and this level and see how price plays out. So for C300, I'm going to leave it on H1, and I'm going to patiently wait and see what actually happens on that level. So that's it for C5. That's it for C3. Jumping to C5, same thing. We jump to the daily. Daily has just come back and closed below the Dayton EMA. But with this particular setup, what you notice is we do have the 50 EMA right here. That's a dynamic support. We do have the 200 EMA right here, which is also a dynamic support. What this simply means is price can bounce off here and push up, or they can bounce off here and push up. So in terms of directional bias, here it's not yet too clean. But the fact that we have closed below the 13 EMA and we had this little rejection earlier shows us that the potential to actually come down towards these two dynamic supports is actually high. So we could have a short-term sell, we could have a scalp sell based on the daily price action. So again, on the daily, what you also notice is there is this order block here. Right, we need a close below here to actually start going low. So looking at the price now on the 4 hour, again, you can see there's no downtrend here. There's no lower lows, lower highs at the moment. So that makes this, whatever setup we're seeing now, it's low probability. So if something is low probability, I would advise not to put much energy into it. If you look closely, we do have an imbalance here between these two candles. This is also a minor zone. We have a dynamic support coming in, so we could get a reaction here. Price could come here, but I would feel this is a higher probability for a short-term sell, this level here. So if we can get here, I might consider a short-term sell. After, of course, I see a reaction, but for now, downtrend is unconfirmed. So whatever we're seeing now is low probability. TDI is also half above the 50, uh half above the 50, half below the 50 static right here on the bottom. So usually what that means is there's no particular direction. It usually also means that price is trading in a range most of the time. So if you're taking a trade, you just need to be extra careful. So this one, I don't have anything high probability except this price line here, which is on 43.88. We can just round it up to 43.90 as a point of interest. Then we're just going to leave it like that. Let me just put an arrow so that when I'm checking my charts, I know exactly what would have mentioned. All right. So going to C5. C5 already moved. I was looking at it just now before I started, but I did not take any trade on it. So they already moved. So let's just map out the setup, see where it is coming from. So again, you can see from the daily, 2 days ago, 4 days ago, we had our first close below the 13. That shows bias. From this high, this is our order block. Okay, sorry about the sound. Okay, so from this high, this qualifies as my order block. This was the first sign that we're potentially coming down. Retrace found supports, found resistance right on the 50 and the 13 EMA, and we got this close 2 days ago. So again, that shows that we're in a downtrend. So I'm looking for price to actually come as low as this level here. I'm looking for a nice explosive move down. What I want to see is price take out this low, potentially retest and continue pushing down. So that's the bias we have. So if we had come earlier, you could have seen pushing down yesterday, and today more or less looking for the same thing. Jumping to H4. Again, you see H4 is in a downtrend. We don't really need to look so far, or based on my trading system, I don't really need to look far because I'm a day trader. I just want to look at my immediate price action. So from this high, which took out this liquidity, and from this higher low, price then broke a structure, created a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, Uh, Potentially we could create a lower low maybe by taking, I think we've already taken out this low based on where price is. So we're creating another lower low. I'm open to seeing a potential retracement to create a lower high before the price drops based on the higher time frame as well. So what points of interest do I have here? The points of interest which I have this low from last week. This is last week's lows. If I can get a retest of that last week low price area, that will be a potential trade for me. I also have this small imbalance right here, which is also a point of interest. I also have the 13 EMA coming. So if you zoom in or if you pay attention, you notice that there's quite an explosive momentum coming to the downside, which means price can potentially just continue dropping before we even get a pullback. That's possible. But if we do get a pullback here, I'll be happy to wait for price around 53.50, 5350 area. That's my main point of interest based on the H1. So based on the H4. Then coming to H1, you see this is the move which has already happened. So for now, I'd rather wait. Maybe I'll pay attention to yesterday's low for a short-term sell. And I'm still open to price even coming out and taking out yesterday's high. So this move is already in motion. The points of interest which I have is 53.50, which is this zone we marked last week's lows. And uh, this particular level, the imbalance we have. And I also have yesterday's lows as a point of interest number 2. So that will be around 53.20. Let's see the exact price. That's around, yeah, 53.20, and today's open price 53.27. So these are just points of interest. If price can retrace into any of these areas and give me a nice selling candle, then I'll definitely be jumping into that trade. So that's it for C1. I'm going to leave this on H1, and I'm also going to just put some arrows here. And here as well. All right, so coming to B5. B5, when you look at it from the daily, you can already see it's coming down. So one thing I didn't mention, if you're new, I only look for buys on the booms. I only look for sells on the crashes. And V75, we trade both ways. So already you can see here, price is trading below the 13. We are in a strong downtrend starting from as early as early October. Price has been pushing down. So early October is right here. There we go. So we've basically been pushing down and we're below the 13. So until I get a close above the 13 or a bullish daily candle, I cannot buy. And again, I wouldn't really advise it. Maybe sometimes you see me trade against a trend. That's based on my understanding of price action, and I usually wait for intraday reversals. But for now, we are pushing down here. This was like a retracement of the higher time frame. It looks like we're pushing down. So until the daily closes back above the 13, this is bearish, and I won't be looking for any trades. Then coming to V75. V75, guys, I'm looking for a buy. For some reason, I'm looking for a buy. Why I'm saying so is I actually missed this buy last week. My reasoning for this setup is, okay, we had this low here sometime early December. We pushed up and I had these two levels here. These two levels only got tested last week. And I was a bit, okay, this one I was a bit distracted. I wasn't really paying much attention to it. Although I saw these buys for me, I did not catch any of these buys. So from this low on our two levels, this is my order block. So a safer buy for me is above that level. So right now, I'll be looking for buys after probably, let's see how today's candles close. So if it closes above the 13 and the 50, that will start maybe to interest me, and I'll start to look for potential entries to start to go long. And this is all based on on a broader picture of this market structure. Price basically bouncing off these two levels. So if we come above this order block, especially I'm looking forward for price to expand all the way up, take out these minor highs in here, come all the way to the 200 or even to the high here, which is possible. But for now, my immediate TP would be right here. So 111.478. I'm just going to put 770 here. 114,770. Okay, that will be the target. So if we can get price push up, they might still push down, maybe touch the 13. So I'm still expecting a bit of trapping in here if we don't get just one good solid push up to close above this OB. So we might still trap in here. But the moment we come above here, I feel like Feb has potential to be a bullish month for V75, especially if we come back above the zone, right? That's my view for now. If price takes out liquidity here, comes back below the zone, we might see price still come back towards this area before these buys happen. These are just possibilities which could play out from a higher time frame. So we just have to wait to see what price is showing us. Then we are going to trade accordingly. So that's my analysis for this morning. B1 has not reacted off that level. Let me just quickly go back to it. You can see we tapped this morning's today's open price. We're still right on that dynamic support area, so I'm still looking to go long unless of course price shows me something else. H1 will be closing in about 13 minutes, so I'm still paying attention to how H1 is going to close. So if H1 decides to close below this 13 EMA, which you see right here, I might consider cutting losses on my current trades. But if we do push up again, like I said, I'll still scale in two positions. TDI is still good for a buy. I'll still be looking for a long. Let's see here. We're also right on the 13 EMA. This also shows me we can still get price bouncing off this price line here. So I would say my stop loss is safely below this week. This is where my stop loss is going to go. So right now I want to see if we're going to get a reaction here. If we come lower than this, it means this particular setup I'm seeing here is invalid and I simply have to cut my loss. But I'll still be paying attention to how price is moving. If we still hold this low here, by holding is if we can have equal lows, if we can have liquidity taken, I can still look for a fresh pattern depending with what price is showing me. So if they show me that they want to push from current market price, which is our point of interest here, then I'll still take my buys. If we break this level, I cut my loss, wait to see what price still wants to do. If this price, this level holds the price, then I'm still looking for buys. But if they break, that will mean something else. Price could potentially be now in a bearish order flow, and I'll still wait until they show me something else. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys learned something. If you want to trade with us, just get in touch. We do have a WhatsApp community where we just share ideas. And we also have our 2025 day trading mastery course, which is out if you need it. It's in video form. It comes with free mentorship, if I'm not mistaken, free mentorship and free access to our live trading sessions. So if you watched until the end, thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.